this is John Sace, host of the bi-weekly podcast, Half Truths and Whole Lies. And as we know, there's a whole lot of lies out there. In this episode, we explore pickleball and all the conspiracies surrounding this sport, which has grown exponentially over the last couple of years. It's amazing. Most people have heard the distinctive pop, pop, pop of pickleball. Either they love it or hate it. Boy, that sound to some people is amazingly annoying. There is this general conspiracy that the Chinese are doing some kind of Psy-Op on us because of their manufacturing capability, their monitoring capability, their chip making capability. People believe they're somehow spying on us. They're checking our mail. They're looking at us with the pickleballs and also communicating through pickleball, through the distinctive pop, pop, pop. The acoustics is doing something. There's also the idea that big business and celebrities and the manufacturing companies are all colluding to make money on obsolescence of paddles and things. And finally, orthopedic associations love pickleball. People get hurt constantly. The old guys, they fall down, they pop their head, they hurt their ankles, and this makes money for the orthopedics guys. They love this and are probably sponsoring some of the professional tournaments. Anyway, we're going to explore all of these ideas with my co-host. Hello, this is John Sace, host of the bi-weekly podcast, Half Truths and Whole Lies. And I'm here with my co-host, Carl. And it's nice to have you back on the show. You're looking virile.
Thank you, John.
You know, it kind of reminds me of this commercial. You look different. Why do you look different?
I got a haircut on Monday.
No, that's not it. I think it's the face cream you're using. You're looking virile.
I think that's 70 SPF.
Your bags are no longer there. You've hidden them.
My eye bags? Well, I got some sleep last night.
Well, anyway, we're gonna
boost down.
You are looking good. I look my normal self. But anyway, so we're going to be talking about all the various issues that come up with the pickleball, and there's a lot of fascinating conspiracies. I'm going to start off with one that I find kind of fascinating, is that paddles with the Kevlar have a distinct acoustical properties, and they believe that it's transmitting a low-frequency acoustical signaling. For example, the dink is low frequency. That has a particular thing. The hard drive is a higher kind of burst signal. And the volleys are pop, 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 pop. They're actually a burst transmission, and the entire play is kind of a data stream. And for example, this would mean pop, 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 pop. That means Karen, go to the No Kings rally. So why is China, do you think, trying to signal us with all these crazy sounds? Also, it's very annoying, as I said in the beginning in the very lead-in, that sounds drives some people nuts. So I don't know if we're harming mental health and we're pushing white women, especially older white women, to these No King rallies, these kind of things
Chinese,
you agree
John,
with.
then if they're pushing people to No Kings rallies, then they must be trying to support the United States. I don't know. I don't understand why that's a bad thing. And
that's because you're politics.
I would argue that they're probably saying donate money to the My Pillow guy. That would be kind of negative.
You think the Chinese support the No Pillow guy? That's interesting.
No. They don't support the United States, so they're trying to get you to elect the No Pillow guy. Does that make sense?
I guess so. I used to like his pillows. Our mom used to have one of her pillows.
Yeah, I've had his pillows before that I inherited from Mom. They don't last. Kind of thinking of a class action lawsuit against him personally.
So you don't think the pop sound overall is emanating kind of to the neighborhood, is causing
I don't
some
see
kind
a
of
rhythm
rise
to it. I don't
rebellion?
see a consistent messaging. And when we talked about this podcast, I said to myself, I should go record it. And then maybe feed it to an algorithm to see if it could analyze it using different codes. But then I realized that would just prove my insanity, like you.
I think it's a subliminal message that
how would the pop, 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 pop be consistently sent? How would the rhythm be done? Unless one person was sitting there on the court banging it against the ground. I don't see how that could ever
over
happen.
time, a certain frequency number of dinks are going to occur on average, a certain number of drives and a number of volleys. So,
but that could be said about any poppings at tennis. It's a different frequency.
Yeah, but the Chinese aren't involved in tennis.
Yeah, they make 65% of tennis rackets too, John.
But the
Not as
strings
many. What?
come from the U.S. No one bans tennis court or puts sound barriers around a tennis court. They put sound barriers and ban pickleball courts because of the sound.
Yeah, it's
So
just
there's-
a higher decibel level. I don't think the frequency has come up in these lawsuits. It's decibel levels.
I thought Karen Bass in L.A. was saying, hey, we're getting some strange signals from those Chinese dudes. Who knows what they're doing? Okay, well, let's move on. That was the first thing. The other thing is, 80% of all this, as you said, or more of this equipment, the paddles are made in China, the balls are made in China. A lot of these celebrities, like LeBron James, are pushing rackets and particular pro sports. And there's a lot of linkage to China. And they never put down the Chinese, but they put down the U.S. quite often. So I think there's some kind of negative linkage with these celebrities and all these Chinese-made products. Now, there are stuff made in the U.S., and I would advocate buy that, even though it's a little expensive, even though I'm cheap, and I always buy the Chinese stuff. But I put an acoustical damper tape on it. But anyway, I think that's kind of weird, the whole celebrity push. A lot of these guys hadn't even cared about pickleball in the past, but all of a sudden it's big. And the tie-in to celebrities endorsing paddles, and the fact that new paddles, about 1,000 a year come out.
But why wouldn't celebrities, John? If celebrities make sense, it's the fastest growing sport in the United States. It's an investment. It's growing professionally. I want to invest money in something. They get approached because the people that want to raise money or get them to market it for them want a celebrity. So they go, hey, buy the pickleball team.
Okay.
I can't see.
I agree with you a little bit on this. It's more of just pure money. So let's move on. So yeah, it kind of ties into the idea of making money. The other theory is like pickleball is fairly compact, courts and sports. And I have read that developers, when they're doing a condo, will get 10 to 15% more money per condo if they have a set of pickleball courts. It's more attractive even than a golf, and it's very cost effective in that way. So everybody's getting in it. They're all trying to make money off a lot of these older people are going to these downsizing, going to condos and buying all this stuff. And so developers are making money, celebrities are making money. They're all pushing it. It just seems like there's a definite tie-in to big money here. It's driving this sport. And sometimes I wonder if it's going to crater because of that.
I think it's going to plateau. I don't think it's going to crater. Well, I'm glad you admitted it's money and not the Chinese.
No, I didn't completely admit that. I still like the Chinese. Getting back to the developers, I heard that the Chamber of Commerce of the United States has a page, pushing pickleball, that they think their way to get more money for their businesses to push pickleball. I've also heard there's Chinese lobbyists that the only thing the guy does in the U.S. Congress is he walks around with a pickleball shirt on, and he tries to convince them to open up more pickleball courts, especially around California, where they tend to ban them because of, noise issues, which they want to break down anyway.
John, I looked this up just now. You were correct about the frequency issue. That is kind of a central point of the whole lawsuits, because that pop sound is in a certain frequency range.
Yeah, it's annoying, and I think it can drive people nuts. People either love it or hate it.
The description says it's almost identical to the frequency of a backup alarm on a garbage truck or a heavy-duty van.
Wow, it sounds like a farting garbage truck?
Well, it's 1,000 to 1,200 hertz, and the human hearing is biologically tuned to be most sensitive to the 1,000 to 5,000 hertz range, where a human speech and baby cries live.
Okay,
and plaintiffs argue that because the sport operates in this distress frequency, it is impossible for the brain to ignore, unlike the lower frequency thwack or thwack of a tennis ball. So the solution is to somehow change the frequency.
Well, and the Chinese make all the balls in a polymer resonance chamber, just to say.
So you're thinking the Chinese purposely put it in that frequency?
Yeah, and also, did you know this? The pickleballs are allowed to have from 29 to 52 holes. And I was wondering, again, what if you have 36 holes? It's the mark of the devil, because 6 goes into 36 6 times, and then also a pickleball case of balls is 36. So is there some kind of devil tie-in with the number of balls?
Yes, there is
in
a
the
devil
Chinese?
tie-in.
Okay, so you agree with me. One thing you agree with.
He's sitting on your shoulder. I can see him right now, whispering in your ear.
My little Lucifer.
It sounds like the solution is change the frequency.
Well, then the Chinese...
But your argument is that the Chinese will never allow that because then they won't be able to get all the data on people due to the signals.
That's possibly true. Now, I play pickleball a lot. A couple other things that I think are weird, and I wonder why it was that way, is the pickleball scoring and rules are rather complex. When you first have people come on, they can't figure out how to score it. Also, one other thing I want to bring up is the aggressiveness of certain people in pickleball. You start going to some of these indoor courts and some of these players, man, they get so aggressive and start giving advice to people constantly, even if they're worse than you. They just can't help themselves from giving advice. I've realized that pickleball for some people is not their sport.
But that's the same in every sport. There's those people that always want to tell you what to do.
Yeah, it's very annoying. It's kind of like if I'm playing with you and you're not that great and you're giving me advice. I don't like it.
I don't give advice, John. I've learned long ago not to give advice in golf or pickleball or tennis or...
Well, actually, your advice in golf is pretty good.
I only try to give it if I'm asked directly, like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah,
well,
I try to keep my advice limited. When I'm on the court, I try to...
If somebody says, what am I doing wrong? You know what I say? You picked up that racket and you decided to play the game.
Okay, and last thing I'd like to get into is the fact that before we get into our call-ins is it seems like older people have stopped walking, stopped drinking, stopped sleeping because they're so obsessed with pickleball. I mean, I'm reasonably obsessed. I go and play maybe 5 times a week. That's, I guess, some obsession, but it gives me exercise, but it hasn't stopped me from drinking. Still do that kind of stuff. So do you think it's a good idea to have this obsession, and is it helping you stop your overflowing drinking problem that you tend to have?
I don't have a drinking problem. I don't see it as a problem.
How about your sleep?
I don't think, from what I've read, there are people who have reported, there's no statistical data saying, yes, it's reducing drinking. Most data about drinking is showing that the younger generation is drinking less and the older generation is drinking about the same for whatever reasons. I'm sitting there thinking any obsession is not good.
Yeah, the actual obsessiveness does cause people, like, again, since there's both young and old people playing, but a lot of older people playing, that reminds me of the last thing is the orthopedic issues associated with it. I've seen a lot of people get hurt. I've seen them fall backwards, bang their head, twist their ankle. I guess the biggest injury I've had is I twisted my ankle. But a lot of people have rotator cuff injuries, knees, legs. So yeah, if you're not ready for it, it's just like any sport. You play it harder than you think. You know what I mean? You go for it. When you're older.
Right. And older people don't stretch enough before they do sports. Like, we were talking golf the other day. I mean, the guys, I always sit there and stretch for about 5 minutes before I go golfing. The guys I play with just roll up and start swinging.
Yeah, so I've learned
any of them stretch adequately.
I was hearing a tennis coach that was on some major network say, because he's been playing pickleball and he's coached both pickleball and tennis, that it is actually harder on your body, pickleball, because of the super quick motions that you have. And I've seen a guy bang his head and hurt his back and all kinds of crap. It is not exactly for everyone.
You know what's interesting, John, is this isn't about injuries, but about pickleball in private golf and tennis clubs. They are resistant to pickleball.
Oh yeah, why? What is the deal?
I talked to some tennis pros that were for the Dallas Golf Club.
Oh, they look down at pickleball.
Look down pickleball as like some fad. Like, I know one club here, and part of it's space too. Like in urban areas, these clubs don't have a lot of space. But Dallas Country Club, my tennis pros were telling me they installed 4 pickleball courts over there recently. He goes, but they still don't get as much play as the tennis does. I think there's kind of like a tennis snobbery in the private sector.
Oh, for the members of these high-end clubs that are paying big bucks. Yeah, I've known tennis players.
Actually, but that if you read though, actually the forgot what the segment was, but the younger segment has now become the majority of players in pickleball, John. It has moved from seniors to let's say 25 to 45 age group or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen teenagers, and I've seen young people as young as like 9 start playing it.
Yeah, but I think that also adds to why it's going professional more.
True.
I mean, people want to watch the sport that they play.
Yeah, you're right about that. That's why some people watch golf, even though it's, to me, really boring. God, it's kind of like...
some people watch car racing, John. Like,
yeah, some people really love car racing.
I can see being there because the roar and the whole thing, but on TV, it's like...
So I used to play league tennis a lot, and I still play tennis because my son likes both pickleball and tennis, and I realized that you can play both. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but I don't understand this snobbery business, It's just a little weird, but you're right. I think I've seen that because I've heard it from tennis players. I'm never going to play pickleball. I don't know. That's a sissy sport or whatever the hell it is. Anyway, so let's move on. I think we've touched on most of the issues from acoustical signaling all the way to, Chamber of Commerce and the Chinese lobbyists. So we've hit a lot of different things. So why don't we go to our call-ins? And the first call-in is from the crazy guy, I think. He's calling himself a crazy guy.
I think he's a little schizophrenic.
Hello, I'm calling in. I live near a pickleball court, and I hit those sounds. Those sounds keep coming to me. The pops and the pops and the pops. And at night, I hear those pops. I have a hard time. I think there's a message being sent. And I dream about pickleball. I think it's telling me there's a revolution. I should go out and protest. I don't know if pickleball's a good thing. What do you think should happen? Should we ban pickleball? It's driving me crazy. Okay, we just heard that guy with the cyberpunk thing over his head, whatever the hell he is, but he is crazy. I'll agree with that. I don't know if this guy plays pickleball or not, but if he did, at least he's got some kind of glasses to protect his eyes, and maybe it's because he's drugged out. I'd love to see him play. He might be a better player.
He didn't indicate he was playing pickleball. It's just the noise. He must be living in one of those condos you talked about with a slew of pickleballs.
I think anything would drive him to go to a No Kings rally.
Which makes me wonder, how do we if you got a 12 pickleball court arena and all the tuck-tucks are going on, how do they siphon out the different noises?
Oh, you mean the Chinese?
Yeah, the Chinese. But
that's
another topic.
They have filters, in various rackets.
Yeah, he didn't mention the Chinese.
Okay, so I always wonder, too, if you're drunk and you fall really hard on a pickleball court, does it not hurt as much?
It never hurts as much
like
until
drunks
the
get
next
an
day.
accident, they get in car accidents, they never seem to get hurt. So maybe it's a better thing for older people to do lots of drugs before they play pickleball, because then they bounce back.
Interesting. Now, I used to play pickleball where we'd take a break and have a beer in between matches.
Did that help?
But I don't think we got drunk. No, it made losing easier.
Well, that's true. So anyway, we think this guy's an idiot, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
we'll agree with that.
I don't think there's a signal telling him to go to rallies.
I think the signal is, get some help. It's probably telling him.
That's an interesting point. You're talking about the signal, get the rallies. I wonder if more Democrats play pickleball than Republicans or vice versa.
That's a good question. Well, since the Chinese are trying to ruin the Republican Party, yeah, they're trying to influence the conservative people more.
On that. I
the liberals who play don't get.
I think that's an internal force, but go ahead.
Maybe the liberals don't get influenced by the pop, 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 pop. They don't hear it for some reason.
I think it's because they're all wearing earbuds with noise cancellation.
Okay, well, let's go to our next caller. Oh, I'm calling in because I love the game of pickleball. It's very dainty sport. It's got the dinks, the little dinks, a lot of dinks, back and forth, back and forth. I love the short shots. I love the movement. It's very fluid. I just hate these big guys that got up there and pound the ball at me. I don't like it. They are trying to hurt me, and I think they ruined the game of pickleball. It's a very fluid, dainty sport. Why do they have to keep pounding the ball at me? Feel like I'm being targeted. Don't you think there should be changes? Can't whack the ball so hard. Do you agree with me? Can't whack the ball so hard. Well, now that we've listened to that person, I can see that they like to play the soft game of pickleball. And for some people, that's fine. But for example, myself, I like to drill it as hard as possible at your body. I do that all the time. The women hate me. I don't know why they hate me, but I can change up when I need to.
Well, the game is to win, right? Everybody plays to win.
Right.
The dink game really is just, to me, it's a lead-in to the kill shot.
Yeah.
You're
so
trying
the
to get people out of position so that you can pretty much drive it, most of the time, drive it down the middle.
Right. The dink game is actually important for setup. It's kind of like set up a shot, right? But yeah, you got to expect when the ball goes high, a little bit, someone's going to pound it at you.
That's true.
And then these younger people, just to say it, some of these younger tennis players just crank the ball. So there's a lot more driving than there used to be in pickleball. I've noticed that. So I would just say, hey, person, play with the people that have a little softer touch and don't get on the court with someone who's going to bang the crap out of you. Now, it's always great, just to say it, to wear glasses. I've been hit in the eye, hit in the nose, hit in the mouth, hit everywhere, but I've hit everybody else too. So I don't know. It's like part of the game.
And it's the same with tennis, John. Think about it. Good tennis players hit a smoking hot serve that's almost impossible to return. And then they're always driving the ball hard. There is tennis players, especially years ago, that were more kind of like volley people that would kind of hit a lot of soft volleys and get you out of position.
And actually, there's also there's several key shots in pickleball. Obviously, there's the drive, the serve, but the dink and the drop shot is very important. It's kind of like a shot. You pop it over and let it just drop into the court. So then that's how people get into the dink game, actually. So we're saying to this person, I don't know if they're a man or a woman, it's hard to recognize that video. We say, play with what the people you like to play with and stay away from the big bangers. That's just the way it is. Okay. Our next caller is some guy from Texas coming up. I'm calling in to voice my support for pickleball. I'm an orthopedic guy, live in Texas. I want to call in to promote the sport of pickleball. It's great for cardio. I really think it's a great thing. I push all my patients to take up pickleball. Now, I do tell them they're going to get hurt, but the cardio is going to increase your lifespan and your lifestyle quite a bit, but there's an 80% chance you're going to get hurt. Here's this doll. I'll just show you, your ankles. Your ankles might be hurt. Your knees, your hands, elbows, and your eyes and your face. Not too many things, but it's probably going to happen. Now, I tend to recommend to my 80 and 90-year-old patients, I say, get out there, even if you're stiff. Play the game, and you'll increase your lifespan, and you'll increase my 401k. I love this sport, and I want to keep promoting it. Keep it up, you guys. I know you're helping me out. Thank you. Carl, I'll let you answer this since you have so many orthopedic issues yourself.
Yeah, I have orthopedic issues, and I will have to say that our caller is definitely looking out for the interests of the Orthopedic Surgeons Association. Doing it well.
Do you think
right? He is right. It is probably going to improve cardiovascular health overall. And but like we talked about earlier, there's going to be a lot of injuries. So it sounds like he's actually telling his patients to get injured so that he can fix them.
Yeah, I think that's what he is. I'm wondering why, the orthopedic associations are investing a lot of money in lobbying for pickleball across the U.S.
Maybe we need to look into that.
I think that's a huge lobbyist group. And I think they've tied in with the Chinese.
I don't know. This discussion is educating me, though. I'm thinking that we need to get. If I was the orthopedic surgeons, I would work on lowering the decibel level of pickleball so it expand to all communities and not be thrown out. And then maybe get with our great Senator Ted Cruz. He is pushing for an NIL bill, tack on an amendment about pickleball volumes.
Hey, actually, you're probably right. The reason pickleball courts are pushed out all over in suburbia to kind of fringe areas, they don't want to hear the sound. Okay, well, I think we're agreeing. The ortho guy is a self-serving doctor. I would report him to the American Medical Association because he's not my kind of doctor.
And they will give him an award.
Yeah, give him an award and say, hey, target our case. Great job. Let's maximize.
Cardiovascular issues are the biggest issue, so he is trying to support cardiovascular health.
Yes, right. So you'll be in bed with a good heart.
What do you want? A hip replacement or open heart surgery, John? Come on.
Your choice.
I'll take the hip replacement.
Okay, so the final call in is from a guy apparently who was born in China, but an American. Let's hear what he has to say. I'm calling in to voice some concerns. I'm an American, born in China. I'm not a Chinaman. I'm not a communist or a comrade. I worked in the tech industry in China for 25 years in the semiconductors and saw them embed various RF chips associated with their phones, and they've been monitoring us forever. I fled through Mexico, made it up to Austin, and I kept one of my pickleball paddles and I disassembled it, and I found an RF chip that if it got close to a phone would transmit data about us. I'm very concerned about this. I've been to the courts. I do not use Chinese rackets. I have to buy an American expensive racket. They're crazily expensive, but they don't have these Chinese chips in them that are monitoring us. So we'll be talking about stuff that is important, like our kids in college and stuff. And they monitor this, and they monitor our messages. It's crazy. I think we should ban all Chinese paddles. It's ridiculous. We're gonna become like them, a monitored state. Please help me get the word out. No Chinese paddles. They're ruining us. They're sending subliminal messages and they're monitoring us all the time. Okay, that was an interesting call. He is definitely saying there's something about the manufacturing process that is monitoring Americans in some way. He said he has taken apart a pickleball racket and maybe found a skimmer, finding credit cards or whatever, some kind of thing that takes data from us or transmits data, and he's advocating heavily for an American paddles because they're not a Chinese Psy-Op, right? Trying to mess our brains. What do you think about this, Carl? Have you ever tore a pickleball paddle apart?
I don't know if they'd stick an RF chip in there. Would probably jack the price up to double.
If you take it over $10.
I'm always amazed by people that I'll have to say he's crazy as shit too, because I'm always amazed by people who think somebody's collecting data on them, because I'm like going, why would somebody want to collect data on you? How important are you? You're not a politician.
Well, that's an interesting point.
I mean, they want to collect data on what you watch, just like Facebook does. Like Google does. It collects data on what you go look at so they can target their advertisements.
But that's not the only thing.
To figure out what the Chinese are going to do with data on your pickleball play.
Well, first of all, let's go back to the idea of Chinese state monitors their people super heavily for everything from politics to potential statements made. They're a completely monitored society, and collected in millions of people's data and the trends that they're happening in politics, there might be some propaganda idea that could be embedded. Now, I'm not sure what the propaganda is buy more pickleball paddles, what they're trying to do. Go to No Kings protests, go to anti-ice protests.
Yeah.
No, Carl, I want to point this out. All those Chinese paddles are telling people to go to the protests you advocate. You've been to every one of these. Carl has been to a No Kings protest. He's been to a
I've been to a No Kings protest. I've not been to every one of them.
What do they call you? You're not called a Karen because you're a man. What do they call you, Bob? You know, they always talk about white older white women.
Is a Karen just a Republican term? Because you're the only guy I know who uses it. I'm like, what is a Karen?
Well, you heard of a Karen is an older white woman that advances all these like liberal causes, and since you're older,
I thought it was an old white woman that advanced conservative Republican causes and went to Trump rallies. See, I'm confused
that's
already.
No, you're a Bob advocating for. You're the only guy I know that pushes Chinese paddles over American. Is that true?
It's not true. You can't buy American paddles unless you are, independently wealthy.
Yeah, that's true. They're $300.
We're gonna have to look this one up. I'm gonna go on.
What are you looking up? You're a Karen?
Do more Democrats
play pickleball
or Republicans
play pickleball?
Pickleball.
I bet it is more conservatives play pickleball. Let's see what the data says. What does it say?
There's no data, no statistical proof. Hold on. Red strongholds. Utah has the highest per capita interest in pickleball, followed closely by Arizona and Florida. Well, that's states where retirees go. These states have been traditional engines of the sport's growth. I would think...
I don't know.
I almost lean towards Republicans because they have a tendency to go to retirement communities that are more conservative.
Yeah, I would say it's probably played a little bit more by conservatives, but not a whole lot.
I don't think it's a cheap sport to get into. It's not
so
like
anybody.
golf.
Yeah, it's really, we'll call it democratic sport, open to everybody, played by slightly more conservatives. So we'll agree with that. And if it wasn't for the Chinese, it would be perfect, right? That was our last caller.
It's amazing. Well, when did the Chinese become our enemies?
When did the Chinese become our enemies? When they opened too many Chinese restaurants. That's why they became our enemies, and they even got China.
Well, now it all makes sense.
Anyway,
I was just wondering about. Okay, so they control their people. I mean, Jesus,
you're good with that, right? Control your.
Do we want to go back to 1840?
Okay, so let's go. We're going to wrap up. I'm going to give my take, and since you are my co-host, I'll let you do your take.
I'm trying to subsidize. My take on pickleball, I'm going to do my take first, John.
Oh, you're going to do I'll let you
Okay, my take on pickleball and whether the Chinese have anything to do with it or not is nothing. They just have the manufacturing capability and they do most sporting equipment. They saw the opportunity, and it really probably wasn't the Chinese as much as American business interests. It's just cheaper to make stuff in China. Your margins are better. Like you said, you can do a $20 racket. Sporting Goods paying $20 for it. They pay what now? I can't even remember what the tariff is anymore, but let's say it costs them $30 to get it in-house, then they sell it for $180. Scale, And I've done thermoplastic stuff and injection molding and junk like that. People aren't investing money in that because they know they can do it cheaper overseas. So my take is Chinese had nothing to do with it, but big money has gotten involved with the advent of celebrities buying professional teams. Well, with the advent of professional teams at first, and then celebrities getting into it. That's all due to the ease of picking up the sport and the small scale of it and the cost. It's like how much it costs now to pick up pickleball. You can get a racket for $20 and a thing of balls for $10.
Yeah. Okay, my take, first of all, the rapid exponential growth of pickleball has been due to a multitude of factors coming together. It is a fairly democratic sport. It's easy to get into. It's cheap. There's a lot of money involved. As Carl said, there's huge money involved here, and that's why the growth is being pushed by celebrities. There's lots of advertisements. The Chinese are dominating in terms of rackets and pickleballs, so I'm sure they're making a lot of money on the U.S. people that play it, but I really don't think there's much of a true conspiracy, even though I like to make fun of it. Then sound is super annoying to people that don't play. So something that would change that would be helpful. And I think there is sort of a built-in obsolescence that is beneficial to all these sporting good companies and to racket manufacturers and celebrities that I think could be easily fixed. So it lasts a lot longer than it has. So my take is the conspiracies are kind of just fun, but they're not really there. It's really a big money investment thing, but pickleball is fun and I play it all the time. I love the sport. And one good thing is I'm better than my brother Carl. And
that's only temporary. Once I get my knee replaced next year, you're doomed.
Maybe I'll get good at golf. But anyway, thank you, everyone. I would like to thank my co-host Carl for a fun discussion on pickleball. And I would like to thank you, my listeners. Please come on back again for our next bi-weekly episode of Half Truths and Whole Lies. Please subscribe. It can be found at Spotify, YouTube, and Amazon. And please remember, we are always looking for the truths behind all of the lies.